You cannot get wealthy by selling your time for money. So I'm obsessed about marketing, understanding direct response marketing at its core. I was reading books by Doberman Dan. I turned 21. And then the two brands I sold it and I moved to Dubai because I felt like a shark in a fish pond still living in Nigeria. Most times, like you're having conversations, I'm constantly being attacked by people from Nigeria because they can't fathom how you are able to like make millions and shit like that, because the average Nigerian doesn't even have $1 in a day. I mean, the majority of people are under the poverty line. So you are here talking about, oh, at 19 you made $1 million in a day.
I really appreciate you taking the time, as always. Even last time it was a really great conversation, so I'm excited for this one. And I want to start off, to be honest with you, with something you already told me a little bit about, but I want my community to get to know you a little bit more too. So I'd love to just know your entrepreneurial story from the beginning. Like, when did you become an entrepreneur? How did that happen? And how did it lead to where you're at now?
Okay, yeah, my entrepreneurial journey, I would say I started since like, I can remember, but officially when I was 11 years old, but it was not online. I sold airtime in high school to buy seniors, and because phones were contraband, but seniors wanted to always make calls to their girlfriends, and so I'll tell the security guy to buy airtime from town. We call it town because school was farther from everywhere else. And he would come and seniors would line up at my door because they need the airtime to make calls to their girl. And then after doing that for a while, I started to learn shoemaking and fashion design because I have a big foot. I wear size 47, which is US size 13.5, I guess. And it was always very, very hard finding my shoe size. And I would do that for a while. I made money from it, thankfully, because other people saw my designs and they also wanted to do that. By the way, this was in Nigeria. It wasn't like, I wasn't born in a first world country or anything. And I would use that to support my mom and my sis because my parents divorced when I was 8 years old. And so one of these days I saw an ad on YouTube. It was a young guy. I'm sure you are aware of who I'm about to talk about, but his name is Jason Stone, Millionaire Mentor. Back in the days, there was this big, now it's one of the biggest theme pages, I think second closest to Wealth. But yeah, like he was talking about how to make money online. And I think his course was $97 or something. But considering I was born in a third world country, the exchange rate was a lot. So I had to, utilize what I had. I sent an email and I asked for a discount. I got a discount. And then my cousin, who was based in the USA, I sent money to her and I had her pay because one of my cousins, her dad won the American visa lottery. So back in the days, there was an American visa lottery. And he moved to the USA. So she was the one who paid for me by the money I sent. Now, mind you, this was me as a minor. I was just 14, about to turn
14? Crazy.
Yeah, I was 14, about to turn 15. And that was what kickstarted everything. Now, how did I get into e-commerce? I started out freelancing, making whiteboard explainer videos for marketers. Back in the days, like you could have those handwritten kind of videos style. And I saw Trey Llewellyn. He made $1 million in a day.
Real quick, if you appreciate these clips and interviews that I put forward for you, then please make sure you use our Shopify link in the description to start your own Shopify business with an exclusive deal. And also make sure you check out akemulab.com for additional resources, free tools, guides, and just a lot of interesting stuff that will help your journey, even some software deals that are exclusive to akemulab.com. So make sure you do that and continue watching the video.
The industry selling LED flashlights. And I was freelancing at the beginning, but I was one of the first Nigerians to use any of these platforms. But Nigerians got deplatformed because some were using it to commit fraud. I mean, that's literally what most people think of when they hear Nigeria. They think of fraud. And I got into one of these forums, saw Trey Llewellyn. I think it was like Warrior Forum or something back in the days, not Facebook or anything as it is right now. And I saw his results. And I'm like, shit, I want to know whatever this guy is doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I knew, because I had always read, that you cannot get wealthy by selling your time for money, right? So I obsessed about marketing, understanding direct response marketing at its core. I was reading books by Doberman Dan, Gary Albert. I was reading books by Eugene Schwartz, David Ogilvy, and all of these OGs of direct response marketing, Robert Cialdini. So it made me understand the hot buttons to trigger in humans to get certain emotions, right? And I partnered up with someone, because I partnered up with someone who was Irish in the forum, so that I can get access to the payment gateway. So payments were to be received with his own account, and then he takes 20% of it and sends the remaining, and we use that to make payments for stuff. Or we made $100,000 and he just ran away with all of the money. So that put me back to square zero. Yeah.
Damn.
So I had to start
That's crazy.
I had to start scraping Facebook groups for people who were searching for, I need help with, I'm struggling with. And I just started stacking up skills, from learning how to use GIMP for photo editing, because the PC that I had then was an Acer Aspire V5. It doesn't have enough power to use Photoshop. So I used
That's crazy. What?
Exactly. Yeah. So I used the open source software GIMP to edit and do photo manipulations. And yeah, long story short, I started with that. The first brand that we did was a fidget spinner. And, back in the days, Facebook was good. It was easier compared to now. That's the money that the partner ran away with. Mm-hmm. So, but the second two brands that I built was Bell Wasted. It was a shapewear brand for women who didn't like how they looked after childbirth. And then the second one was Inviso. It is a shoe pad for shorter guys who were dating taller girls. So you add it to your shoe and it just gives you an extra 3 to 4 inches in height. And so we built, it's an habit building product, because you have to come back to buy, because the pad can wear out after consistent use. So it's something people have to come back to buy. And it was kind of like a subscription box service. And yeah, I did that for, I think, like 9 to 10 years. And I sold the company in 8 to 9 years, because I sold the company when I turned 21. And then the two brands, I sold it and I moved to Dubai, because I felt like a shark in a fish pond, still living in Nigeria. Most times, like, you're having conversations, I'm constantly being attacked by people from Nigeria because they can't fathom how you are able to like make millions and shit like that, because the average Nigerian doesn't even have $1 in a day. I mean, the majority of people are under the poverty line. So you are here talking about, at 19 you made $1 million in a day. You do this, it's unfathomable. But yeah, that's been my journey. And now I'm documenting the journey with Phoenix Watches to the $100 million bank.